universe, media, network, 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 network.
Welcome to the United States Women in Real Estate Investing podcast. My name is Jeune Ortiz. I'm the founder of REI Social, and I am the host of this show where I get to interview amazing women doing wonderful things in the world of real estate. And tonight, I'm proud to introduce Elsa Nguyen, who we'll be talking to and learning a little bit more about. Thank you for joining us, Elsa.
Of course, thank you so much, June, for having me on your podcast today. It's an honor.
Yes, absolutely. So before we get down to business, I just want to hear a little bit about who you are as a person. Where do you live? Where do you work? All of those kinds of fun things.
All right. Definitely. So I am a mother of three young, beautiful children, teenagers, and I came to this country as an immigrant at the age of 13. Came from Vietnam. So, people from anywhere but the United States know that the United States is a land of opportunity. So, when we pack our bag and all move here, we all came with the hope and dream that one day we will finish school and, be established, so on and so forth. So I was one of those dreamers. Long story short, fast forward 30 years in the U.S., I finished school. I got my MBA in business administration. I went to work in finance, accounting, but I felt that it wasn't fulfilling, even though the numbers came fairly easy for me, but I felt that there was more to it, right, than just an 8-to-5 job. And that's when I started exploring, what can I do that I could be my own boss? What can I do that would allow me to grow with no cap, like unlimited growth potential? So the only thing that, I didn't have a lot of capital to start a company like other people, and I didn't know how to go to VC and ask for money. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get into real estate. So if I can sell a lot of houses, I'll make a lot of money. I was just like thinking. Real estate here in the Bay Area is not cheap, right? It's like a million a pop. And if I could sell one property and make 3% commission, that's $30,000. I sell 10, I make $300,000. So I'm like, okay, maybe I get into real estate, I can make a lot of money, like a lot of people. So that's kind of my journey into the world of real estate when I decided to give up my full-time accounting career and pursue real estate full-time. And I did work in real estate for full-time for a couple of years, making decent money. But I still feel like, I'm still working for somebody. I still have to be working like even more hours than before. Like now I work day and night time, reading disclosure and inspection report, and just have to cater to so many people. So I'm like, I don't think this is what I want to do either. Anyway, long story short, I was introduced to the idea of syndication around 2019 when someone approached me and asked me, like, Elsa, we can put our fund together, our money together, and go and buy that apartment buildings, right? It doesn't have to be one person who owned that big commercial real estate. It's a group of people, and we all can work together, increase the values, and make money that way. So that was eye-opening for me. And the path just kind of opened up from there. So I decided to participate as a passive investor, a limited partner at the time. And then soon after that, I started purchasing my own real estate deal with other investors. And now we are 2023. So it's been 4 or 5 years, and I'm still doing that right now.
Wow. So that is Invest Now Capital Group. That is your syndication company.
Correct. Yes.
That's amazing. You basically just leapfrogged. You did like, here's my day job. I'm going to sell a few properties as a real estate agent. Oh, No, I'm just going to go ahead and start buying commercial properties and apartment buildings and all those kinds of things. So that's amazing.
Well,
And
one thing led to another, right? It was an, had I not taken a leap of faith into the real estate world, I wouldn't known about syndication.
yeah,
So I think once we started to walk, the doors were open for us.
yeah. And you know what I really like about that is just the fact that you skip so many steps. And I know a lot of investors, they want to start with the fix and flip with the dream of buying and holding, and then working their way up to maybe then being able to do a syndication. And you were able to pull funds together and meet the right people. Tell me, where did you meet this the person who just kind of started telling you about the syndications?
The first, that's a really good question, June. The very first person that kind of introduced the idea to me was my broker. And at that time, I still remember vividly, I was sitting in his car and we were driving to show a property. And when we came back and he go, Elsa, and we were at the stop sign and we look over at a big building and he go, I want to buy that building. And I want us to buy that building together. I'm like, how? You know how expensive that building is? And we live in the Bay Area. We live in San Jose, Silicon Valley. It's not cheap. And
Oh,
I go,
yeah.
no, you don't need money to buy that building. People are going to give us money to buy the building. I'm like, who's going to trust me to give you the money?
What?
Like it just made no sense to me at the time, right?
Right.
Like he's just gonna go and ask people to give you money so that you can develop that building or buy that big building and go, yeah. So anyway, I never did anything with that broker in terms of the development, but the idea was introduced, and a year later, I ended up working with another broker, but I still kept in touch with that person. With the new broker, I ran into a lady who was actually working on a syndication project, and she works in the same office with me. And she asked if I wanted to invest with her, and she's like, "This is the return. This is what we do." And she explained the whole model to me, and it brought me back to what Andrew, my last broker, had mentioned. And like that made a lot of sense, right? So we could leverage. I mean, what we do is that we improve the piece of the property, and we share that profit with the investor, because the investors are technically the one who come up with the most of the capital for the down payment. Mm-hmm. So the way that she explained it to me made complete sense. So I went ahead and I invested with them as a limited partner, but I told her that I want to be on the other side. I want to be the one who kind of just pulled this together. So if there's an opportunity for us to work together, I would love to do that with you. And because I put it out there, and I believe, with the universe, when you put something out there, it'll come back to you, right? So because I put my desire out there, the next thing I know was that, another year come by and this woman had the opportunity to start doing her own deal again. And I asked her right away, I'm like, can I partner with you? Like, what can I do to help you? And she go, no, I got it. I don't need help. But I kept on showing up at her office, and I asked her, like, can I help you? Can I just sit here and shadow you? Like, you don't have to do anything. I just want to sit here and watch, right? So I show up to her office almost every day for 6 months. And then she turned around one day and she goes, so what can you do? And I say, well, I'm pretty good with numbers, right? And you know what? Actually, I think I can put you in my deal because I'm not good with number, right? She say I'm a very social, outgoing person. She can talk to investors. She can put together a presentation, but she is not good with numbers. And so she go, maybe you can help me with the number part, because number doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't know how to do the pro forma. I don't know how to calculate return. And I'm like, well, you got me, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's how I really became I got into syndication, my first deal, and it was quite a big deal. We were doing a hotel development at the time for 132 rooms hotel. It was a land development project. So I came and I joined forces with her on that and became a partner. And then shortly after that, I got into more into multifamily than a hotel because of COVID.
Okay. Yeah, COVID stopped a lot of things right in its
It did.
tracks.
It did. Yeah, it destroyed a lot of stuff that were really on the path of growth, and things should change around. Like
Yeah.
nobody saw that coming.
Yeah. I love that you partnered with somebody who basically had a lack in the skill sets that you have. And I think that's so important for partnerships to work, is that you're complementing each other. You're not trying to do the same stuff.
Right. Right. Yes. And at the same time, once I partnered with her, I grew in the area that I was weak because that was her strength.
Right.
So I gave what I was able to give, but at the same time, I also gleaned a lot from her, and I grew in that area as well. Which like if we have a growth mindset and always open for learning, I think there's just so much opportunities out there, so much we can grow from.
Yes. Every single investor that I've interviewed so far they have said something to the fact that of, the positive mindset, the growth mindset, the learning mindset, and how important that is in order to be successful in this business. Do you agree with that?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. It's I've never done so many what you might call it declaration in my life. So
Yeah.
just that positive reinforcement.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you needed it, right? And it really, and being self-employed and being a run your own company, we have to deal with so many elements at the same time. So it's really, especially a lot of unknowns with the interest rate rises, and things are just not what we had projected for it to be. It's a very stressful job. So if we don't stay positive and believe in a high calling, believe that we will get through this, it will be very easy for most of us to give up. So I'm 100% with them on that, staying positive and
Yeah.
be firmly, like really firmly believe that this too shall pass, and then we can make it. We just need to be able to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can already tell you're a person who doesn't take no for an answer. Showing up every day for, what did you say, 6 months? Was it 6 months that you showed up to her
Pretty
office?
much.
Yeah. So yeah, you
Pretty
broke her
much.
down. That's awesome. So, we talked about the leapfrogging, and you happen to have some people, in your life that just kind of came to you almost magically. Let's call it the power of attraction there. But if somebody who's listening wants to do what you're doing or get started with their own syndication, what would you tell them the steps to take?
Knowledge is powerful, right? So if you don't have a knowledge in whatever that you want to do, it will be very difficult to attract people to you. So the first thing that I would tell them to do is surround themselves first of all with like-minded people, right? If they want to do what I do, if they want to do what we do and quit their job and go into self-employment full-time, a lot of their family members would probably be the first one that say, "You're so crazy," right?
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that if you truly believe that, I can make this work, then they need to start hanging out with people who have been proven success being an entrepreneur. So I would say hang out, surround yourself with the right group of people who has the same dreams and vision, or at least supported of what you do. I don't recommend that you quit your job and abandon your family. If you kind of want to go into, self-employed, just like us, being full-time, they should at least have some sort of saving or support before they do this, or do this on the side. But I would say surround yourself with the right people so then you can get the mental, the mindset right. And then they're gonna have to study. So like for me personally in the beginning, I invested into a mastermind so then I could just first of all to be in that group of people, and second of all is to learn because I didn't know much about. I mean, I know number, I know the balance sheet, I know how to reconcile the bank statement, but when it comes to a certain industry, we really need to study all over again, right? So the basic is there, the foundation is there, but I still need to learn how to underwrite an apartment buildings. I need to learn how to look at that model and know what number to put in there for once. And then I need to learn everything about multifamily. I need to learn about the market, the employment, was a good place to buy, was a bad place to buy, right? Different type of neighborhoods, so on and so forth. So those take time. And the more that you invest in yourself into books and reading, then the more you will gain the knowledge. And when we talk to an investor and we have the knowledge in whatever that we do, it just come out. Like we don't even have to prove ourselves. Once you know, you know, and they know that we don't know, or they know that we know. So it just start with that, education and surround yourself with the right people. And then I believe once you get that down, the opportunities will almost present itself. People just come to you and then you start explore, and it just like for me, opportunities always present itself. A lot of time we don't seize the opportunities because we're not ready for it yet. And that readiness is a lot of time is on us, right? I don't have the money to buy that yet because I don't have the investors. And I don't have the investors because I haven't proved myself to them yet. So nobody trusts me to give me the money to buy, but the opportunities was there. And it could be a numbers of things. So that's what I would say is that, it's we don't just go from step 1 to step 10. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we take one step at a time, but it does involve time, big time commitment, and a lot of hard work.
Yes, for sure. I love everything that you said there. It was a lot. And I mean, but it was like gold nuggets all over the place. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Yes. Find mentors. Yes. Know that your family may not be the most supportive because they're the most protective.
Yes.
And it's, they don't mean to pull you down, but unless you have a really strong network of people who believe in the same vision that you have, it definitely can, you have your whole family structure that can bring you down so quickly, and your friends can bring you down so quickly. So you need to have the mindset and you need to have the network. So I love everything that you said there. So everything up to this point sounds like, you've just been charmed, right? You leapfrogged your way here. People fell into your life, but tell me, I'm sure that you've had some moments where things didn't go right, things went wrong for you. What was one of those moments where things just didn't quite work out for you?
That's a really good question. It will never be, it would, it's never a straight path, right? But what I've learned is that as long as we don't give up and as long as we keep going, we'll get to our destination. And some of the setback for my personal journey, it could have, there's a number of things. For example, when I did when I invested in the hospitality deal, I actually lost everything because when I invested in that hotel deal, because of COVID, we couldn't develop that project. So I lost all of my capital. It didn't go well, right?
Can I ask you how much you lost?
100,000.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, and thankfully the project that I work on as a GP, it did not go south. I mean, we got hit with hospitality. I mean, we get hit with COVID that we couldn't execute our exit strategy, but then we were able to maneuver that and able to exit some other way. So it was, it wasn't the same as the one that I invested in initially. So that would be one setback. Like had I been discouraged, I would have just say, oh, this is just not gonna that's not gonna work out. I should just go back to my 8 to 5 job. Um, and then for the works that we're doing right now, there were projects that I worked on when we went way over the budget for the construction because of the general contractors, right?
Mm.
So the budget went over because they needed more money. So we had to put more funds into it, and we didn't exit with the kind of profit that we thought we would have. We didn't lose money, but we almost didn't get through it. So
Mm.
there will always setback, and a lot of it, honestly, right now, I know a lot of operators are struggle because of the rise of the interest rate, right?
Yeah.
They
Right.
all thought that they would be able to exit the project at a certain cap rate, or they would be able to refinance at a certain interest rate, but that's not the case. So a lot of operators also struggle with that, and then that's something that I don't think anybody saw coming. With interest rate went from 3% in 2021 to what 7-8% right now. So we did some of our projects also get affected by that because I was not able to sell it at the cap rate that I thought I would be able to. So the
Mhm.
profit, I thought I'm going to make this much money. I ended up making a little money, right?
Mm.
So it could be very discouraging. But again, I am a firm believer of opportunities, and there are more. So as long as I don't lose my shirt, I'm just going to keep going.
Good stuff. And so let me ask you, when a project kind of misses its mark and it doesn't
Mhm.
make as much money as you thought it would, how do you communicate that to your investors, and how do you keep them happy and satisfied so that they come back and invest with you again?
Luckily, we have been able to still pay their preferred. Usually, in a syndication, we have preferred return, and then they also get some equity, right? So let's say you invest a certain amount of money, and we would structure it in a way where the investor maybe get 7% return, kind of we call it preferred return. That's kind of like the interest that you will get, and then you will get maybe 70% on the profit split at the back end when we sell the property. The challenge is that a lot of time, for my deal personally, we have been able to pay the preferred return. Thank God for that.
Mhm.
However, when we sell the property, when I show them the underwriting, and I will say, with the 70% profit that you're gonna get, this is how much it's going to be, but it's not going to be that much anymore because we cannot sell it at the price that I thought I would be able to sell it because of the interest rates, and nobody going to pay such a higher price, right? But thankfully that we have been able to pay the preferred return to the investors, and investors nowadays, they know, and a lot of them have lost their capital in some of the investment. So I think as long as they get the capital back, they would be happy. So it would
Right.
not be a very difficult conversation to have, even if I cannot return to them, 2x equity multiple as I thought that I would be able to. But if I get to 1.5, 1.4, 1.5, I think they would be okay with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As long as they're not losing money.
Exactly. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people just like, as long as I don't lose money, Elsa, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
told them, you're not going to. So.
And you losing 100,000, I mean, that is a bitter pill to swallow for sure.
And that was very my first deal. It's a lesson to learn, but at the same time, hey, you know what? Um, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's risk in what we do. There just is, and you have to take that along with all of the wins that you get. It's a risk reward kind of job that we work in.
100%. Yep. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So it was just a price that I pay for the career the profession that I'm in right now. So that was just education, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
There you go. School of Hard Knocks. Tell me, what are your favorite types of deals to work on? What are your favorite syndications?
I did mostly 90% of what I've been doing with multifamily.
Okay.
And I love, I've done varieties of things. So I've done anything from a 5 to 7 years hold into a almost like a fix and flip, but for apartment. And those deals are usually smaller deals, maybe 10 units or under, and I can get it done in a year or so. So it really depends, but I love strong returns. So I would look for deals that, you know, even if I buy a 10 units apartment, let's say for $1 million, ideally I would like to sell it for $2 million once I fully turn the property, fully
Mhm.
stabilize it and turn it. I want to be able to at least double, maybe not double, double would be great, but maybe 1.7, 1.8 of the original amount that I put in. I would be very happy with that. So I usually look for those kind of deals.
Okay.
And unfortunately, a lot of those are actually in California. So, I'm probably the only one that loves California market because it's the blue state, but it comes with its positive. It comes with some of the good thing because it's such a strong rent control state that a lot of these apartments are paying rent, let's say $1,000 where it should be $2,000 in rent, right? So if I could increase the rent by $1,000 per unit, I could, even at 10 units apartment, I can double the values of the property. And now the key is how do I relocate this tenant so I can increase the rent. So
Mhm.
that's just a fun part to work with, but the reward is awesome, right? It's like you double the net income, you double the price of the property.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So let me see if I understand correctly here. So sometimes because there is rent control, you need to get the tenant to vacate so that way you can upgrade the apartment and then charge more.
Mhm.
So what are
Correct.
some of the things that you do in order to get somebody to leave their rent controlled apartment?
Give them money until they leave. Cash for keys.
Okay. Yeah, cash for keys.
Cash for keys. Yes. So
Okay.
everyone is different, and every city is different. Not every city in California has rent control. So
Right.
some
Yeah.
of them, with a 2 months notice, they have to leave, right? If you want them, and I usually with those, if I want them to leave sooner, I will give them money. I'm like, you know what, 2 months you have to leave anyway. Here's some money, take it and leave it in 30 days. So most of them would take that. So it's actually not as bad as we thought it would be.
Okay.
And then once we have them out and we can go in there starting to renovate the units, and a lot of time, honestly, these tenants who pay super low rent, the landlord never really touched the property. It's never been renovated. Things are broken. It's just unlivable. So they in my opinion, you pay a little bit more, but it's for your health, for the sake of your children, whatever it is, they should consider, a nicer place to live, because a lot of them hold on to these apartments because of the cheap rent, but the quality of life is super, super low. I mean, these carpets probably haven't been replaced in 20, 30 years.
Hmm.
Imagine the dust and the mold, and it's just bad for their health,
Right.
right? And the bathrooms never been, it's just like some of this apartment you can't even walk in there.
Wow.
So they need a facelift, really they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And so you mentioned that you invest in Silicon Valley. Are there other areas in California where you invest, or is it just kind of are you working all of California?
Yes, yes. So we do invest more in SoCal than NorthCal because I find more opportunities in Los Angeles than here. And we do
Okay.
have properties in San Diego County. Right now, we're actually my favorite projects that I'm working on right now is that we are getting into assisted living space.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing assisted living with this project in Fresno that we're working on, and there's such a huge demand for senior care assisted living right now. The pay is much better than multifamily. So once I know like how much money is in this business, because I mean you can work with private money, like people just have money to pay to live in a senior care home or assisted living, or if you qualify for Medicaid, Medicare, they also pay for that. Some insurance company pays for that as well. So we can definitely work with those, agency if we don't want to work with private clients.
Right. So tell me a little bit about this assisted living. And when you're buying assisted living places and then kind of not converting them, but upgrading them. Is that right? Or you take,
I would buy an apartment buildings,
okay,
or a property, whatever that may look like, and then instead of renting it out to long-term tenants, I will rent it out to an operator who will run it as an assisted living.
I
So
see.
in
Okay.
my case, I would run the assisted living myself. So I will open up another company, right, to operate the assisted living. So I actually don't lease it to people. I would lease it to another company that I own, and I run the assisted living state myself.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah. That's a great way to do business when you are able to have all of the other businesses that support all of your businesses. That's fantastic.
Yeah, might as well. And I think it's a strong, with everything goes on right now in the market, I think the investors are looking for a safer place to invest. And I feel that assisted living is a very strong play right now. I did get a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people reach out and ask me, like, how do I invest with you? And, just knowing that, like, our facility is up and running next year, but I already have an agency that I work with that have people that they're ready to place in my facility once it's ready to take residents. So you can see the demand is so high. And
Hmm.
that's why, and then, we can charge a lot more money than if we were to lease it out to long-term tenant as well.
Yeah. And they take care of the place.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, a few years back, I was actually looking into developing assisted living as well, but it would be in a house, not in
Mhm.
a big facility. And I found California was a little bit difficult to work with as far as that specific type of investment goes.
Mhm.
But I just remember, looking at the research, and I kept saying, I forget what the phrase is, something like the white wave tsunami or something like that, because of all of the people who are entering into that senior care age where they're going to need more and more help. I mean, the generation that's entering that now is enormous. And so, I think I forget the generation. It's baby boomers. That's who it is. So it's the baby boomers, which is a huge generation. And so, yeah, that's really smart of you to get into that and to build that out. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this new ventures, and we'll see how that play out. But that would probably be my focus for the next couple of years.
Yeah, yeah. No doubt it's going to keep you busy for probably a lot longer than that. So if somebody wants to invest with you, how would they reach you? what's a good way to contact you and find out more about some of these syndications that you're doing and the requirements that you have and all of that?
Mhm. Yeah, so a lot of time you can just go to our website, investnowcapital.com, to just learn about who we are and the deals that we work on, and the testimonials. A lot of stuff are on our website. We have blogs and educational stuff, resources there that they can check out as well. And there's also the email address on the website that they can just send us an email directly from the website. Otherwise, I can be found on LinkedIn under Elsa Nguyen, or Facebook, or anybody can also they can always email me if they want to reach me directly. Elsa at investnowcapital.com.
Okay. And the website again is investnowcapital.com. Okay. All right. Very good. And do you need to be an accredited investor?
And not necessarily. It really depends on the deal. So if it's a smaller deals, I usually don't do accredited investors. So then we can take, if I'm going to raise like a few $100,000, there's no need to make it an accredited. But if it's a
Okay.
bigger deal, then yes.
Okay, good. It's good to know that there are those two options as well to invest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so, you've got a lot going on. We talked about your positive mindset and things like that. Tell me, what is kind of your daily ritual that keeps you fired up and positive and just helps you get through your day?
Very good question. So I usually start my day with sort of like meditation or affirmation. So I do write out some affirmation that I read kind of in the morning, and then I do a little bit of meditation just so that I can get in tune with the day. And then after that, I go about doing my day. So, but I think those that affirmation card that I write out for myself, I read that before I go to bed, and I read it in the morning. It helps a lot. It really helps a lot. And I try. I mean, I love reading. I do love reading a lot of self-help books, mindset books. I read a lot of those. So those are also very helpful. But I think just to have an organized mindset, just have a like I like to kind of just pen out what I'm going to do this week, like things that I want to achieve this week, and then my long-term goal, my short-term goal, and just try my best to stick to it. Right, we're starting maybe 10 things on our to-do list, and the first one being the most important thing that we need to work on for that week. And then I worked out the list for that week. So then that way I know that I accomplished what I've set out to do. And then from there, my partner Garrison Gilbert and I he's also the co-founder of the company. We meet every Monday to kind of just go over our goal and just reaffirm what we need to work on, just so that we stay on the same page. So we're very consistent with that.
That's good. I really like that you are organizing your day ahead of the day so it doesn't control you, because there's always stuff that's going to come up. And if you don't put in the big rocks, then you're just going to constantly be pulled away from the important things that you have to do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm picking up all kinds of great information.
Thank you. I'm sure you do have your schedule too. You also seem to be a very organized person as well.
Well,
So
I definitely try to be organized, but it never hurts when you hear just reminders, from people again, like, oh yeah, that's right. That's something else I could be doing. Tell me, what is the book that you're reading currently?
I just downloaded Dr. Joe Dispenza book. I don't know if you heard of him. He's a chiropractor that got in a car accident when he was like 18 or something, and the doctor said, "You're not going to survive. You're going to die. You're never going to leave your bed." And he was depressed for a while, but after that, he started to train his mind. And he became so strong that not only he got out of bed, but he was completely healed. And now he's teaching people about the energy, just because this mindset is all about energy. If the stronger your energy, it's quantum physics. You put it out there, it'll come back to you. And I'm reading a book called, I think it's called Supernatural, something like that. Probably one of the first book that he wrote. I heard about him. I listened to him on podcast. And I read a lot of his stuff here and there, but I never really read a book that written by him. So I finally just picked up one. So that's the one that I'm reading right now. Amazing.
Nice. Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Elsa, we've covered. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
And also Joe Dispenza is the name.
Joe Dispenza. Okay, fantastic. Now I got a reading list. I've got all kinds of things on my to-do list here. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today in this interview. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you were hoping that I would, or that you kind of just want to communicate out to the people who might be listening?
No, I think we covered a lot of stuff today. I can't think of anything else, but just leave it. The last thought is that just do it. Don't be afraid. There will be always obstacle, but if we don't, if everything is smooth sailing, then it will not build character. So if you want to do something, just do it. Come up with a plan and get it done.
I love that. All right, Elsa, thank you so much for joining me this evening. And for everybody else, thank you very much for joining us. And remember to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app and visit UnitedStatesRealEstateInvestor.com for more podcasts and industry news. And with that, thank you very much, Elsa. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it's been a pleasure for me.
Universe Media Mastering. Your audio more listenable.